Pixie and you're watching Pixie and the Notes. Today, something relaxed. I would like to share my thoughts on fragrances that I've tested throughout the last few months, and I would like to praise a little bit and to roast a little bit. So I'll tell you which fragrances I liked, which stood out for me, and which were kind of like a disappointment or strong dislike. So without further ado, let's get started. To start on a positive note, the fragrance that I really loved recently was this Tenue de Soirée by Goutal. And I was really pleasantly surprised. I'm just gonna spray a little bit on the test strip to remind myself. Right off the bat, I don't know all those fragrances very well. These are like more first impressions. I'm not like super familiar with all of them. And this one is a beautiful leather with something very sensual. There is patchouli in it and musk. In the dry down, it really reminds me of Bottega Veneta and Rihanna Rogue. But as Rihanna Rogue and Bottega Veneta are kind of like a badass professional sense that I can picture in the office environment a lot, this one is more like after work, you slack it on and you go for a date. There is something very sensual and sexy about it. It is like a sexy leather skirt and caramel silk blouse. So in short, it's more like Bottega Veneta with this sensual, slightly gourmandy touch, because there is also caramel listed among the notes. So it's like a more delicious gourmandy version of Bottega Veneta. Beautiful. Another scent I don't have sample of anymore because I used it up, and that is Frederic Malle's Synthetic Jungle. And to be honest, I was kind of prepared to hate this one because people said that it smells synthetic, but when I sprayed it on, I didn't get anything synthetic about it whatsoever. In fact, when I sprayed it, I had like immediate association with two fragrances I really like, and that is Le Mot de Beurre by Kenzo and L'Ombre d'un Lot by Petite. So it has this very green, galbanum, slightly fruity touch, and it also has this like almost like mandarin. There is something also like kind of earthy. I really enjoy that one, and I really wouldn't mind having a decant or even a bottle. But I won't get it because I still have samples of other fragrances like that are similar, but I really liked it. Another one from Goutal, and this is Petite, Cherie. And when I sprayed it, it put a smile on my face immediately, because this is like a sparkling, vibrant pear, like a pear soda or a pear champagne. A very bright, very uplifting, very girly, flirty, very casual. And when I sprayed it, I had this moment, oh my god, it reminds me of something. And after a while I figured out that it reminds me of a fragrance I used to own, and now it's discontinued and I don't remember the name of, I should have prepared. But that was by Celine Dion, and that was also centered around pear. a really lovely scent. Maybe it's not very groundbreaking or complex, but it's just like a mood lifter. Another scent that I tested recently is by Comme des Garcons, and it's called Serpentine. And what a lovely green scent that is. It has this galbanum, but also something soft. So for me, it also almost smells like a very juicy tuft of grass growing somewhere on a sandy beach. There's nothing beachy or marine about it. I mean, this fragrance has a very interesting texture because it is juicy and fresh, but also there is something very dry and almost sandy. So it smells like two colors, like juicy spring green and the sandy beige. And when I was sniffing it and testing it, I had like this association with two fragrances, like if they had a baby. And that would be Tokyo Bloom from, I don't know, I don't remember the name. Okay, I'll check it later. Tokyo Bloom, which is this juicy, green, musky, soft scent. And Royal Oud by Creed. So these two textures, dry, sandy, woodsy with juicy green, really beautiful scent. I'll be wearing my sample with pleasure, especially during springtime now. Beautiful stuff. Another one I was enamored with, that was Kayali Pink Pepper. And this one is for people who like sweet fragrances. And another, like in the case of the rest, I have association. I don't know, these days it's very difficult for me to find a fragrance that wouldn't conjure up any association with any other fragrances. And this one is like a mix of two fragrances I love. And that is Jardin de Misfa by Uniwi Nomade. This beautiful rose water with dates. And Roses Vanille from Mancera. Mancera. Yeah, so it's airy, it's jammy, it's delicious. I really, really love it. It would be totally redundant in my collection because I do own Jardin de Misfa and Roses Vanille. But it's really beautiful. So, yeah, gorgeous. Another one that I really loved, but it's sadly very difficult to get. I don't know if it's discontinued, but it's a really rare one. And this is Rousse by Serge Lutens. Oh, it doesn't want to spray. Okay. Oh, this is like beautiful spices with something like citrusy. It's thick, but it's light. It has something bright, but deep. It is really, really beautiful. It has slight... Yeah, it smells almost like Christmas. because it has that orangey, orange with spices. There's something also like vibrant, almost sparkling in it. It's really, really beautiful. I wish I could have a bottle of this because it's really, really beautiful. Rose by Serge Lutens. Well, another one that I really, really liked, but same story, I have association with other scents, and that would be redundant actually. And this is Absolute Aphrodisiac from Initio. This is a beautiful smoky vanilla, but there is also something slightly fruity, and slightly chocolatey about it. It is delicious, but I have association with and this is like an amazing association because it smells slightly, the vanilla in here smells like the vanilla in the Millésime Imperial. Jesus, no. I will never learn. Like Chalimard Millésime Vanilla Plentifolio. Beautiful scent. So if you are looking for a beautiful deep vanilla, dark vanilla that is not too sweet, but still it is almost mouth-watering without being edible, you should check this one out. Okay, and the last but not least, and this one will probably turn into a full bottle, and this is Elle by YSL. This one is just, again, very sexy. I find something, there is this element of cinema, which is my all-time favorite scent. There is something about it, like cinema with some patchouli and sensuality. So again, as this Goutal Tenue de Soir was like a night date version of Bottega Veneta, Elle is a date night version of cinema. So cinema with patchouli and some sexy oomph to it. Beautiful. Okay, so now let's roast a little bit. The first one on my list will be a scent that I had wanted to smell for a very long time, and I had very high expectations of it. And I was really disappointed, and that is Intoxicated by Kilian. I sprayed it, and I found it kind of underwhelming, but then as it was sitting on my skin, I found it so cloying and so overwhelming, and so there was something very thick and tenacious about it that was making me feel uncomfortable. It almost gave me same feeling as a Naxos by Serge gives me. I'm not saying they smell similar, but the same vibe, like this overwhelming thickness and tenacity. Another one, and yeah, I know that I might be crucified for this, but I really I was laughing out loud when I tried Geranium pour Monsieur by Frederic Malle. I just did it blindly, I didn't know what it was, but I sprayed it and I was like, is this a fucking joke? This smells like a toothpaste. Like literally a toothpaste. And later on, this kind of geranium, lemony, peppery geranium kicked in. So it was almost like a dentist hiding in a geranium flowers. I really didn't like it. It was, I really couldn't understand how you could possibly want to wear something like this. A toothpaste. Seriously. And right after testing Geranium pour Monsieur, I tested Brigade Concentré, also from Frederic Malle. And that was the most boring, basic, meh citrus scent I could imagine. It had nothing interesting about it for me. And it's not that it was unpleasant, that I didn't like it or it smelled bad. It was simply so not exciting and so basic that I was really surprised to discover that that was created by Mr. Elena. I really wouldn't pay like anything for that scent. So another one that I really wanted to try was Mango Skin by Vilhelm Parfumerie. I really love mango as a fruit, as a smell, and I really thought it would be amazing to find a beautiful mango scent, and I had very high hopes for it. I sprayed it and initially I was like, wow, it smells so good. The opening was really nice. But as it was drying down, it was getting so generic, so boring, and so like sweet and synthetic, and the quality was kind of plummeting down as it was drying down. So what I was left with was this cloying, fruity, like almost like cheap smelling sweetness on my skin. So as the opening was really nice, and I was really hoping it might be it really disappointed me. So I checked it off my list. So another one that I was really curious of was Dendera by Centauri Perfumes. I heard a lot of people raving about it, and I finally tried it. And that just made me like go, why? I will probably never understand indie perfumery. For me, that perfume was basically very chaotic. And it didn't smell like perfume, it just smelled like some arbitrary things mixed together. So I will just stop at this. I didn't like it. Another one that I tried, and I have a sample of right now, was BDK's Ce Soir. This is like a nightmare fruity truly for me. So it has this almost like a La Jezebel and all those cloying, sweet, overly sweet kind of scents with this patchouli. So this is like a very, it doesn't smell, it smells kind of, it could be just like some Britney Spears scent. Absolutely not for me. I don't get why people like it. well, it has the appeal. It is in the genre that a lot of people like, but this could be easily a designer or even a celebrity scent for me. So if you don't like fruity trulies, if you don't like very sweet scents, you can pass on this. Another scent is a pretty interesting one. This is Jezebel by Anka. This one is pretty, that one is pretty interesting because there is, and now I can smell that on the strip it smells different than on skin, but when I do, okay, so there is a lot of cocoa in it, like chocolate, and there is pear, but this pear with chocolate here, the chocolate here has this indolic character, and the pear is almost like a fermented one. So it has something indolic and almost like fecal about it for me. So when I smelled it with my friend, we both agreed that this smells, and I'm gonna be quite visual, like a hangover poo. You get what I mean? So I really can't imagine wearing this. It's kind of an experience. Okay, I have 3 more. And these 3 are kind of, I don't dislike them per se, but there is something that made these fragrances like not for me. And one is Andy Towers Sundowner. And this opens with a big blast of cinnamon and orange. It is like cinnamon, orange and cocoa. Yeah, basically cocoa is the most dominant thing for me. Then cinnamon and then orange. And this also has kind of like this vintage character, and I couldn't put my thoughts around that, but then I figured out that it smells a little bit like Youth Dew, that vintage character of it. And as a principle, I really like this scent. It has a very pleasant smell. But as I was wearing it, and I had this experience with many tower fragrances, it doesn't allow you to breathe. It doesn't let you go. So after an hour or so, I had to wash it off because I was feeling I'm suffocating. And that's my biggest problem with this scent. It doesn't give you your personal space. I had the same thing with Le Désert Marocain and also with this one. So a really nice scent, but the beast mode quality and this tenacious character is something that absolutely just makes this fragrance not wearable for me. But it's a nice scent. The next 2 that I'm gonna mention, I have like a similar thing about those. So one is Kerosene Follow. And if you love coffee and you want to smell like coffee, like a sweet coffee, then check this one out. But for me, the smell is beautiful. The smell is beautiful. It smells like those Capico candies. So like this very thick, almost concentrated, if you took very sweetened coffee evaporated all the water and you got the sweet coffee essence. This is what Follow smells like. And as a principle, this is like a beautiful scent. But it's not like, I don't want my perfume like this. I don't want this smell for several hours around me. This is a scent I can enjoy for 5 minutes and then move on with my life. But for coffee lovers, and if you don't mind smelling like coffee all day, this is a must try. And the last one is also from Kerosene, and this is Unknown Pleasures. I know a lot of people love it, and as with Follow, I really like the smell. It's really pleasant. It smells like a lemon sponge cake, a lemon vanilla sponge cake. It's very, very sweet, very gourmandy, but too literal for me. Again, 5-10 minutes, I'm okay with it. It's a beautiful, yumsy, mouth-watering scent. It has something almost slightly buttery, but the lemon here as it goes becomes a little bit more like this synthetic bug spray thing for me. So I tried wearing it twice, but every single time I had to wash it off because it was too much after a while. So these two are really beautiful scents, very, very delicious, but simply not as perfumes. That's it. Okay, and now I'm thinking of one more I would like to mention, and that was Slowdive by Hiram Green. And that smelled like, that is like a honey scent. And usually I'm biased, and I won't lie, I don't like honey scents. But that one was really weird because it smelled almost like this buckwheat honey, and it was almost, smelling it was almost like sticking your nose in this thick buckwheat honey, slightly dirty, slightly animalic, like a wild honey. So again, if you love honey, and you want like a hardcore experience and something very in your face, you should try this one out. But for me, it was definitely too much. Okay, I think that's it. Of course, I had more likes and more dislikes, but this video would be way too long. I just focused on the most important ones that I wanted to share. Let me know in the comment section what fragrances wowed you recently and which were like meh or kind of hate. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.